we didn't have the turnout that we were hoping for because we're fighting with the weather on this. It's the first beautiful day we got here in Rockaway. So we're still going to try getting a little knowledge in today. We're going to do a little hands-on. One of the things I want to teach everybody is how we're going to do things and apply it to other areas.
I'm interested in people, women also going into this type of field so they can do their own projects, fix their own houses.
One of the things is this field is not limited to anybody. Male, female, good health, bad health. As I just finished saying, I do suffer from neuropathy, and I'm out in this field doing this every day. Okay, with my physical condition, if I can do it, I don't care who you are, doesn't matter. You can do it. You just got to apply yourself. And that's one of the things that I want everyone to learn, whether you're here or you're watching online. I want you to learn that your limitations are what you set, not what I set, not what anyone else sets. Okay, so what we're going to start with today is, as you see, the wall's pretty badly damaged. We're going to work on fixing this wall up. One of the things that you got to learn is everything you do applies to something else. If you're fixing a piece of wood, let's say you got a nice wood table or something outside, or something that's been hit by Hurricane Sandy and you want to refinish it, there's going to be scraping down. You're doing something in the house. You're doing the concrete on the outside of the house near the foundation. Whatever you're doing, there's going to be prep work. Prep work is going to be the same no matter what you're doing. The basic principle. There are variations, whether you're doing it on wood, wall, or concrete. There are variations, but the variations are very slight. The basics stay the same. So what we're going to work on today is the basics on how to scrape something to get the excess off without having to gouge it and do more damage. And then the basics on how to put it together. Now, when you're putting it together, we're working with spackle today, or joint compound, whichever you prefer, same thing. No matter whether you're using joint compound or you're working with a piece of wood and you're using wood filler, or you're working with countertop and you're using a filler for that, the concept is going to be the same. So we're going to work on things that really don't apply to the specific of what you want to learn, but what we're going to work on is the basics. And then we're going to teach you actually, whether it's in the field, meaning at one of our houses or wherever, how to actually apply it in a real life situation once you get the basics down. Okay, so for starters, James, can you, Bobby, just pull that on the side, use the plastic, set that up. When you're working with prep work, just like whether you're working with a piece of wood, there's different things you use to scrape it down or to sand it. We're working with a wall today, so there are different things you use. Okay, the small 4-inch scraper is good for scraping things down. You have to be careful how you do it. The middle size is for second coating, and the large size is for final coating, which I'll show you each step. The other thing with the 4-inch is, I left that separate for a reason. When you're working with a 4-inch knife, if you're retaping a seam in your house, let's say it cracked, you cut out the tape, and you want to retape it. 4-inch knife is used to apply the tape. It's used for scraping. It's used for minor patches. The other knives are just for finish work. So I'm going to start you off with using the 4-inch knife and how to scrape things down. So someone want to give a shot? When you're starting with the scraping, one of the problems a lot of people do have is gouging. When you hit a corner, or if you bend your knife, it's going to gouge. When you're scraping, one of the things you want to do is find a heavy spot where you can get the knife in good. See, I'm keeping the knife close to the wall as opposed to out. And just slide off. This is perfect because of the way it's coming. Okay, now speed is not of the essence. Accuracy is more important than speed. By taking your time, you got more control over the knife, and you're going to have less repair afterwards.
Can I try it?
Oh yes, you're definitely going to get a chance. I want you both to get a feel. Karen just came up with a good question. that in this circumstance we're working with bubbled paint. The thing that I was saying before about applying it to other areas. If you have a piece of furniture, let's say you got a nice dresser, but it was painted previously, and you want to refinish it, one of the things about refinishing it, if you want to take it down to the bare wood and do it all right, is you got to use paint remover, which is going to cause the paint to bubble up. And then you're going to go through everything that you're learning now. You're going to go through the scraping it. You got to know how to use a scraper right, because you don't want to damage the wood because you're looking to refinish it. We're working with spackle. The concept's going to be the same when you're working with the wood fill on a piece of furniture, or whether you're doing just a little seam in the wall. So the concept of everything you're learning is going to be applied to other things later. Everything's going to have to be prepped. Everything's going to have to be finished. And this process is going to apply to a lot of other areas. It's not just, oh, we're working on a wall right now. Okay? Here is called a hawk. This is basically what you're going to use to hold the spackle. I mean, it's obvious. And when you're working with wood fill or something, you're going to do something similar. You may not be working with a hawk, but you may have a piece of wood or a piece of cardboard that you're putting the wood fill on, so that you're not walking around with a container and whenever you stick your hand in that container, you open up a bucket of joy compound, you reach into wood fill, anything. You're always contaminating. Any dust on your fingers, anything in the air that gets in there, makes it harder for you to get a smooth surface. So you want to take out as much as you're going to need, usually a little more than you're going to need. You want to use up what you got, throw whatever's out. As soon as you get it out of the bucket, you close the bucket. With the hawk, we're going to first work with what they call an 8-inch knife. Hawk is very simple. You just hold it by the grip, balance it, let it sit on your forearm. Usually you keep it square to your body, but it's all really how you're comfortable. There's no set of rules. You know, I can tell you the basics. You're going to find you're going to hold something different. You know, you might find you're working with a piece of wood if you're doing wood fill. You might find you want to just sit it on a counter and just hold it in place as you're using it. Everything's going to be a little different, but the basics, hold it so it's comfortable, whether it's on a counter, in your hand, because as long as you're comfortable with one thing, you're free to focus on the other. On a project like this, we're trying to make all these edges smooth. Whoops, we missed a spot. We're trying to make all these edges smooth. No matter what you're applying it to, it's the same thing. Put on a little excess. As you see, when I'm taking it on the knife, I'm just scooping it up. I'm scooping it with the back of the knife up. So this way I have on the face of the knife, the back of the knife is nice and clean. You always want to keep your knife clean. Whether you're doing wood fill or anything, if your knife stays clean, your project stays clean. That's why I got your husband here for. If your knife stays clean, your project stays clean. If you let it build up on the knife, it starts drying up on the knife, and then you can't get smooth finishes. When you apply it with a little excess across the surface. Clean your knife to get a nice clean edge. And gently bring the knife across. You're not going to get a perfect finish the first time. The first time is giving you a basic bevel, so then you can come in with a larger knife and do what they call feathering. So I'm going to do one more spot to show, and as a matter of fact, I'm going to do around a light switch where it's a little more difficult. You got to control the knife.
F-E-A-T-H-E-R, feather?
I'm a contractor. Okay. I'm not a dictionary. All right, apply a little bit.
Feathering, yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's, apply a little, smoothing it out. That's what I would be going for. Because it's a lot heavier, saves me steps. But you're learning it, so you want to work in more steps and make your job easier. So you're going to do it more of a thinner coat. You're going to do it more like that. And What that means is you're going to have to probably apply an additional coat. But it's better to do that than have to sand it all down, or if you're working on something that you can't sand, you know, have to remove everything and make everything more difficult. All right, who's going to be the first to give this a shot? See, try standing more to the right so you're comfortable, and put it more here up on the line. Right, first lay it over. Now go along the line to smoothing. Follow, here, see? Follow it across. Okay. And then you can apply a little more pressure. You don't want to work with the knife deep. Okay. All right? And then same thing. Working on a bigger wall is great for learning because it allows you more maneuverability. When we start actually doing it on projects, you're going to be working on finer areas. And you don't have the maneuverability that you got here now because there is a drying time involved with spackle. Usually in low humidity, I let it sit to the next day. High humidity, sometimes it takes 2 days. There's what they call a feathering coat. With a feathering coat, and this is the same on any project once again, what you're doing is a lot wider. And now, I'm doing the same thing, and I'll show you later when we get to a point where we can do a little more. Right now, I just want to see want you to see what's coming up. And once again, we're learning on a big project, so it's nice and easy. When you're working on a small detail project, if you don't have this down, it's going to take you forever to get it down on a small project. That is part of why you're here, is to learn not only how to do it, but to learn what you need, how to apply it, how to go ahead and do the shopping, when is it time to buy this kind of compound or that kind of, all-purpose or a lightweight. When is it time to buy a 1 gallon or a 5 gallon? When is it time to buy a sandable wood fill or a non-sandable? Thank you for watching our first class. I hope you enjoyed the video. We're going to be doing additional classes that are going to show you how to apply the things that you learned here today to other areas, other type of projects. I hope you join us for future classes. If you have any suggestions, feel free to write in. We welcome all kinds of feedback, and I hope to see you on other videos. Thank you.